Okay, here's my sound preferences. I like a variety of different tunings, but really what gets my juices flowing, starting from the lower octaves, is in the bass. I like my bass punchy, tight, fast with a kick. I like a little bit of energy down there, maybe a little bit of warmth, but not too much into the getting into bass bleeding. It's got to have enough weight to make male vocals, make piano, cello, percussions, have the right tonality. When it comes to my mids, I do like my mids and mid clarity, but I don't like too forward a mid, so that's the upper mids I'm talking about. So keep the pinna gain down a little bit and not make it too forward a presentation. And when it comes to the highs, I do like my sparkly highs. At my age, I'm probably losing a little bit of the high frequencies. But not too much where it's sibilant and in your face. So that's what I like.
You do it all. Carry the world and take the fall. You get no part of the love and care that's in your heart. Never take time for yourself. Never ask for any help. Never mind feeling compelled. Always got people to please. Always got someone in need. Always got somewhere to be. Darling, don't you ever find it easier to just don't. I find it so much easier. Go and find your inner peace, my love, and just don't. They count on you, 'cause you don't keep count of all your favors. But I count for you, and the numbers never in your favor. Never take time for yourself. Never ask for any help. Never mind feeling compelled. Always got people to please. Always got someone in need. Always got somewhere to be. Darling, don't you ever find it easier to just don't. I find it so much easier. Go and find your inner peace, my love, and just don't. Darling, don't you ever find it easier to just don't. I find it so much easier. Go and find.
Hello. By now, you might be getting a little bit bombarded with a lot of marketing from EarAcoustic's audio and their Silver Angel. And here today I'm going to bring you my take on this set. And let's jump into the first part. Going to be time-stamped. It's a bit long. Unboxing is first rate, really pretty, really classy, really well done. Themed everywhere. Silver Angel, nice puck case, nice size of it actually. I really like it. Comes with a 2-core SPC cable, 3.5 only. So for those of you who want balanced. The set that I have today that I will be reviewing is the SPA Limited. This is their top-end version, and I'll get right into what the difference is that I could determine. There's two versions of this Limited, the one with kind of a sputter-coated shell, and this other version 2, which is, again, a CNC machine shell, the most detailed I've ever seen in an IEM at any price. Absolutely phenomenal. I don't know how long it would take them to CNC just one of these shells, but I would imagine quite a bit, and probably why it accounts for the pricing. So to start off at the bottom, just so to get a little bit of clarity with this series, they all use exactly the same driver. And what changes? So you get at $150 the SPA high end. I know it's the bottom, but it still says high end. Can be at the bottom and still be high end, I guess. Here you get 3D printed resin shells, and this is where the part gets a little bit interesting. 23 ohm impedance, 111 dB sensitivity. That's kind of interesting. You take a step up into $40 more, $190. You get now the high-end Ultra. Now, this one has a zinc alloy shell, and I wish one of the things that EarAcoustic's audio would do would be to let us know the weight, because I guarantee you that between this version and the one above it, so the high-end Ultra is using a zinc alloy shell, and they're kind of known for some weight on there, so it must be a bit heavier. Now, the interesting part about this now is that's 26 ohms, 110 dB sensitivity, same driver. So they're doing something obviously inside. Take a step up, almost, $100. You get the SPA high-end Max. So here you jump from the zinc alloy shells to the aluminum shells, and you change impedances again. 30 ohms, 109 dB sensitivity. So a little harder to drive. And then you jump up into the limited at $429 for this bad boy in two different versions, and again changes the sensitivity, 25 ohm, 111 dB sensitivity. So from my understanding from my peers, that they do have a slightly different tuning versus each other as you change models. So I only have this one to give you my impressions on, but I will say this thing wins full marks for the absolute bling factor. Cannot be touched. I'm using green foamy tips. I'll get into that later about sound. And I'm using a DD Hi-Fi solid copper cable, the NetNix, or the Nix Net, if you're dyslexic and say it backwards. Sources I used in this review was the Onyx XM5, the Kai Designs Tap 1 Pro with the Muses op amps, and the DX340 now with amp 14 with the Korg New Tube amp card in that one. And we'll start off with just some sound impressions as I get going here, and I'm talking about my journey now for the sources that I use. So straight off the bat, I will tell you that if you are treble sensitive, this will not be a set for you. I also just came off a very similarly tuned set, this one here, and this is the CVJ MERMAID 2, also fantastic and stunning. And I'm going to do a bit of comparison to that at the end. So I was thinking when I did the graph of these two and I compared it, and I was like, oh, okay, this one just has a little bit more. There's more to it than that, I think. Starting off with the SPA Limited. On a bright to neutral source, the treble gets a little spicy for me. It goes beyond my comfort zone, let's put it that way. And maybe some of that 8K peak you see in the graph isn't necessarily a resonance coupler peak. It might be, I can definitely say there's some information up there as well. So on the Kai Designs Tap 1 Pro with the Muses, which those op amps I'm using in that particular one, tend to soften everything up quite a bit. It makes it a very analog sounding. The top end gets tamed. Still you get full mids, and then taking it to a different source with the DX340 tube amp, very detailed top end, nice warmth down below, and more still, there's more information filled out into the mids. So now, going back to adding a little bit more to the sources and out to the K Designs in the tube mode with the Muses O2 op amps, amazing change to the tonality of this driver, much more analog sounding. The bottom end fills out nicely. The upper mids are pulled back just a bit by softening the sharper notes. Really like that. On the DX340 with amp 14, the Korg Nude tube amp, I just got that in and I'm quite impressed with it. It's just the right amount of tubey goodness, but still very clean and articulate mids and highs. Really like that sound. And on this IEM, it was very good, but I was still wishing for more analogness, because the SPA Limited is a very detailed and capable IEM. It could benefit from a warmer source, I found, to take down some of that top end, tame down the top end, so I can turn it up more. So that's where the foam tips really came into place over silicone for me. That's how they came into play. If I use the DX340 amp 14 tube preamp to the Kai Designs tube amplifier, that was the best pairing of all. Let's just say the synergy of the SPA and the Kai Designs is terrific. The lower half of the frequencies is warm, and the top half is still very detailed and clean, and I can get to volume, right? That's important to me. Those were the three sources and how kind of I was trying to sculpt it to my sound. So if it was on a very analytical, dry source, for me, it's too much information. I can't do more than a few minutes. So talking about sound deeper here, the Limited for me is a fun sounding V-shaped tuning. It's different from a lot of drivers, sets it apart with the dynamic driver that's used in here. And here's some information about it. It's a really interesting dynamic driver that I haven't seen in another IEM, and I applaud EarAcoustic's audio for kind of stepping out of the norm and going back older school to some of those fun V-shaped tunings, and that's exactly what it does. For those of you who are not high frequency sensitive, you're going to really like this set. And we'll talk about something else that pros and cons. One of the things that I didn't quite like about this set is the bass. The bass comes off with a bit of a slower attack and decay. Quite full-sounding bass, never overbearing or bloated. Is it that fast, speedy bass that I prefer? It isn't. It does kind of sound like a more resolving high senior Mega 5 EST kind of bass. That's what it sounds like. Sub bass takes a backseat with a fuller, lower bass presence, and as such, bass heavy tracks, the driver doesn't sound too strained. It came to play when it needed to and did it with authority, so no problem. Angel, massive attack, right? The drowning bass drops are there, pulling down as low, as a sub-focused IEM. It isn't. It doesn't go to those really deep drops. The bass does sound kind of organic, but for lovers of faster attack and slam, you're going to be left wanting. And that's a great track to kind of highlight that. Mids are kind of where they're full. When playing back vocals and acoustic instruments, I don't have any complaints whatsoever with this IEM. Treble is what I would call detailed, not exactly bright, and rolled off in the upper treble to make it sound not too thin or too airy, but enough sparkle in the right places. And again, that really was source dependent as well, big time. For me, that's what I found anyway. When I was playing this track, Duende by Bozino Levin Stevens, in this acoustical track, you get loads of percussion, hi-hats, acoustic guitar. It sounds very clean, very detailed, lots of energy on both ends, certainly a colorful replay, full of emotion and depth. I will say this is a wonderfully tuned V-shaped tuning. Talking about Openness stage, Rackham live version by Dead Can Dance. I use this one a lot to get a good sense of how much can this gear, present a big stage, a big sense of venue, and your feeling of where you are in that venue. So the SPA Silver Angel, it did a really good job. A great big, actually have a really nice stage. Not crazy 3D, but certainly this EarAcoustic's audio IM can project a very engaging experience. So, as with most gear, tuned with a boost in the lows and the upper mids, you get a very dynamic replay where between a quiet passage within a portion or within the entire track, the limited comes across as fun and musical. And that's where you find a non-V shape, a very flat target curve, not as engaging because it just doesn't have the dynamics on both ends, right? The SPA Limited, for me, makes no apologies for not being a neutral or an uncolored IM. Instead, it embraces its kind of lusher musical side, I think, with a big dose of animated upper mids and enough treble to kind of keep you engaged. Vocal clarity is simply standout. Probably my favorite part of this IM for sure. Some overall thoughts. What I loved. Well, oh my God! I mean, it's hard not to love the details and this shell. I mean, fantastic! Wow, right? Full on blingy. That CNC machining is second to none. Very, very awesome. Whether you choose one of the two limiteds, if you're going to step up into that, and that's, I think, why you're paying for that price point, is really for how much time consuming they did on the shell. So if this one sounds like your kind of jam and you really gravitate to one of these higher end shells, yeah, I can see why the money went there, right? Totally. I mean, the shells are also that kind of semi-custom. They're on the larger side as well. So here's a picture of my daughter's ears. She got it to fit. She has smaller ears, though they do kind of stick out a little bit that way, but she got them in and she said they were comfortable. So what else did I really like? I love the Year of the Snake theme. I think that's good for these top plates. Gives you something to remember 2025 for, and how the world got so screwed up and upside down. So good reminder on that one. I do love how well this IM does vocals, both male and female, actually. Bass comes out to play in a very authoritative manner when and only when the track has bass. And this driver is kind of a beast, and it doesn't have very much distortion in the low end, even on busier tracks. I did kind of find that as well. That was kind of nice. I love how strings sound on this set, detailed and crisp. Master of Puppets by Apocalypta. That was just a wow. Very nice. From the entry-level SPA high-end to the limited, the tuning doesn't change too much, I think, as you step up. And you just have to decide what shell style and materials are worth upgrading to suit your taste and your budget, of course. What would I have liked to see a little bit different? Well, a bunch. The various models were very hard to research and learn about. It's very confusing per model. What's the difference? It's the same driver, but things have changed. So what's changed, and why is the price being driven, where it is? Same case, same cable, right? So would have liked to see more upgrade features to help people separate out the 4 various models, right? Like give the limited a higher end modular cable, the high end Max also with a cable, maybe when you could get a balanced version. Stuff like that, right? Just differentiate a little bit. And if you're not just, because that's not going to add too much to if you're already charging $429 for the top end model, why not throw in a nicer cable as well when you're there? Add 20 more bucks, right? Whatever. The specs for the weight would have been nice to be able to get that printed to see the various models, because I have a feeling, again, that zinc alloy shell is a whole lot heavier than the CNC aluminum shell is very light in your ears. If you compare that to the Dita Audio Mecha with the titanium shells, those things are like a meteorite, where these things are super, super light. So that would have been nice to see. The shell comfort, again, on all the models should be the same. That semi-custom shell shape is well done. Really like that. Again, the shells are a bit on the chunky side. I would have liked to see some smaller shells, especially this is a single dynamic driver. It doesn't really need to be that big. That's for sure. They could have probably made those a little bit smaller. Bass, well, it's personal taste here now. Lovers of, again, kind of a softer bass would like this driver. Those of you like me who like faster, punchier, more attack, letting us kind of hang out there for a bit. Though I didn't mind the bass, when a song came on with like rock, and I really was thinking, I want some more attack and texture in the bass, and I found the dynamic driver a bit soft for me on this one. Now, some final thoughts before I get into one comparison. This IEM got better for me in the time of me dialing it in for my personal tastes. With about 40 hours on it, I do believe the DD needed some kind of time to loosen up and burn in a bit. Bass did liven up to the level shown on the graph, and the top end mellowed up quite a bit. I'm very blessed to have a great selection of sources on hand, but you might not. As this was my observation, in case you only had one kind, like a warmer or an analytical source, and to help you kind of determine if this maybe IEM would work synergy-wise for what you have, right? The Onyx XM5, fast filter, low gain, the MX5, again, on that source, its nature of that source is fuller bass boost, super clean, and uncolored mids and highs. Well, with the Silver Angel, on the source, it was a low volume set. And that's why I'm kind of bringing this to that point. It was okay, but it was only okay on low volume. There was a bit too much upper mids and treble hitting beyond my personal comfort zone. Borderline kind of when I reached for the volume control and turned it down. So on lower volumes, I could go for much longer, 2 hours plus sessions, versus 20 minutes on high volume, where quite honestly I would get ringing in my ears. So something about this set for me in the treble sensitive area just pushes my buttons, and I take them out and I get ringing. So there's that. Now, I'm going to do one comparison. $120 CVJ Mermaid 2 set versus the what I'm assuming would be the entry level set, which wouldn't be too far off tuning wise, and $150. So the Mermaid 2 is basically, in my opinion, probably a better tuned IEM. It has a smoother, less energetic Silver Angel. Bass is tighter, it's faster. On the Mermaid 2, less upper mids makes this a better IEM set for longer listening sessions. Though it still pertains a lot of that clarity and fun V-shaped tuning, I prefer overall the Mermaid with its less emphasized colorization. To my ears, it had better tonal quality and timbre of instruments as well. So I think they pushed it a little too far with this one. And I just find overall this was a better listen for me. Bass on the Silver Angel is its biggest weakness, I think. And here again, for my personal taste at least, the Mermaid is better for me. It has faster bass, tighter, sounds like more, and it's more textured. So CVJ also gives you a much nicer modular cable, but no case for $120. The Silver Angel would give you that nice case and 3.5 SPC cable, which again, I don't know if I would pair that cable anything with silver in it to brighten up the top end. On this, again, that's probably my personal taste, but again, it didn't need any more, even on a solid copper cable, to try and turn that down a bit. It didn't matter too much. So if you're not treble sensitive, then I would say go for the Silver Angel. The SPA is a great V-sounding tuning for that. I mean, it's a bit standout. If you like a bit brighter top end, then spend the money on the $130 more for at least the entry level model to get into the SPA. If again that was kind of your jam and you wanted to go there, but so that's really my overall thoughts about this IEM. Again, just wrapping that up, might be a bit too spicy, might be a bit too big for people. Bass might be a little bit too soft for some. So it's not a perfect all-rounder. It is what it is. It's colored in its own unique way with a very unique driver. And certainly for those who are willing to step up into the limited, you get the bling factor at times 1,000. So that's my overall thoughts on this. Thank you to EarAcoustic for sending this one out, and greatly appreciate it. And I love them. I love the bling, and I do actually quite enjoy them. For shorter sessions, still on very warm tubey analog goodness, it's a great IEM. So thanks so much for watching.